Close your eyes and think about the last time you picked up your phone. Perhaps it was out of habit, perhaps curiosity. You open a social media app and instantly, a flood of posts, photos, videos, and stories streams across your screen. Each swipe brings a new piece of content. A notification pops up, a like, a comment, or a share, and immediately your brain registers a tiny surge of pleasure. That little rush feels good, almost rewarding, but pause for a moment. How much of this feeling is truly under your control, and how much is your brain being subtly guided without your awareness? Social media taps directly into the brain's reward system. Dopamine, the chemical messenger associated with pleasure and motivation, is released not only by natural rewards, like food, success, or intimacy, but also by likes, comments, and shares. Each small reward reinforces the behavior, nudging you toward the next scroll, the next video, or the next interaction. What feels like a simple habit is actually a carefully constructed feedback loop designed to keep your attention engaged for as long as possible. Over time, this loop can rewire the brain. Ordinary, everyday activities, spending time with friends, going for a walk, reading a book, can begin to feel less satisfying compared to the instant gratification of digital interaction. The brain starts to crave constant stimulation, and the next notification, trending post, or viral video becomes a benchmark for pleasure. Hours can slip away unnoticed as the mind continuously seeks the next rush of dopamine. The effects go beyond pleasure and habit. They influence attention and cognitive function. Constant notifications, rapid content transitions, and a steady stream of new information train the brain to expect instant stimulation. Deep focus, creative thinking, and problem-solving become more challenging because the mind grows accustomed to quick bursts of novelty rather than prolonged engagement. Studies indicate that frequent social media users have shorter attention spans, struggle with sustained tasks, and find it difficult to fully engage in reflective or critical thinking. Emotional and psychological consequences are also profound. Carefully curated posts show only the highlights of others' lives, creating a skewed view of reality. The brain naturally compares, often triggering feelings of inadequacy, envy, or stress. Cortisol levels rise, while positive emotions are sometimes muted, contributing to anxiety, restlessness, or even depressive symptoms over time. Adolescents and young adults are particularly susceptible, as their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for judgment, self-regulation, and long-term planning, is still developing. Likes, comments, and followers are processed as essential social signals impacting self-esteem and emotional regulation. Algorithms amplify these effects even further. Every interaction, what you click, watch, or linger on, is tracked and analyzed. Social media platforms use this data to present content specifically tailored to maintain your engagement. Over time, the brain begins to favor familiar content patterns, reinforcing existing beliefs, narrowing attention, and limiting exposure to new or challenging perspectives. Social media, in essence, shapes not only attention and mood, but also preferences, opinions, and even worldviews, often without conscious awareness. Yet there is hope. Awareness and intentional action can counterbalance these effects. Limiting notifications, setting daily screen time boundaries, and dedicating time to activities that require sustained attention, like reading, creative projects, or face-to-face interactions, can strengthen the brain's self-regulation. Mindfulness and meditation practices help modulate dopamine cycles, reduce stress, and improve emotional resilience. Social media is powerful, but it doesn't have to control you. Understanding its influence on the brain is the first step toward conscious usage. By being aware, setting boundaries, and making intentional choices, you can enjoy the benefits of connection, information, and entertainment without falling victim to endless cycles of distraction and craving. The next part will explore the deeper consequences of social media on decision-making, emotional resilience, and practical strategies to regain control over your mind. As we continue to explore how social media shapes the brain, it becomes clear that its effects extend far beyond simple entertainment or distraction. Each like, comment, or share triggers the brain's reward system, reinforcing a craving for instant gratification. Over time, this repeated stimulation can weaken the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for self-control, decision-making, and planning. The result is a higher likelihood of impulsive behaviors, compulsive scrolling, and difficulty resisting short-term rewards, even when we know they may not benefit us. Attention and focus are significantly affected as well. Social media trains the brain to expect constant stimulation, fast content, and immediate feedback. The mind becomes accustomed to short bursts of novelty and struggles with long-form reading, deep thinking, and complex problem-solving. These changes affect work, learning, and creativity, making it more difficult to engage in sustained mental effort or reflect thoughtfully on information. Emotional and social consequences are also profound. Seeing curated snapshots of others' lives, successes, achievements, and carefully staged happiness can trigger social comparison. The brain interprets these signals as markers of social status or acceptance, and negative feedback or perceived shortcomings can increase stress and anxiety. This reliance on external validation can erode self-esteem and influence emotional regulation over time. Young people are particularly vulnerable as their developing brains are highly sensitive to social cues and peer approval. Algorithms intensify these effects. Every interaction is tracked, and feeds are personalized to maintain engagement. The brain becomes conditioned to prefer familiar content and repeated patterns, reinforcing existing beliefs while limiting exposure to diverse perspectives. Over time, this can narrow thinking, reduce critical evaluation of information, and create echo chambers where novel ideas are ignored or resisted. Social media subtly influences behavior, preferences, and worldviews, shaping how we think and feel in ways we often do not notice. Neuroscience confirms these patterns. Functional MRI studies show that positive social interactions online activate the nucleus accumbens, a key part of the reward circuitry, while negative interactions trigger the amygdala, responsible for fear and emotional processing. Extended exposure can alter connectivity between these areas and the prefrontal cortex, reducing impulse control and heightening emotional reactivity. In short, social media is not just an external influence, it physically reshapes neural pathways, guiding attention, motivation, and behavior. Despite these powerful effects, the brain is highly adaptable. Neuroplasticity allows us to retrain attention, emotion, and habit systems. Limiting screen time, disabling unnecessary notifications, and scheduling deliberate breaks help strengthen self-regulation. Engaging in activities that require focus and creativity, reading, writing, problem-solving, or face-to-face interaction, rebuilds cognitive endurance. Mindfulness, meditation, and reflection regulate dopamine cycles, improve emotional resilience, and reduce stress responses. Awareness is the key to regaining control. By understanding how social media shapes the brain, we can make intentional decisions about how, when, and why we engage. Conscious usage, critically evaluating content, avoiding harmful comparisons, and detaching self-worth from online feedback, supports mental health and cognitive function. Social media can still be a tool for learning, creativity, and connection, but only when used deliberately and mindfully. Ultimately, social media is not neutral. It actively reshapes attention, emotions, and decision-making. Recognizing its mechanisms gives us the power to reclaim control. The next time you scroll, pause and ask yourself, are you guiding your experience, or is your brain guiding you? With awareness, boundaries, and intentional choices, it's possible to enjoy the benefits of social media without allowing it to dominate your mind.